Welcome everyone to, oh wait, I got this, I got my second camera. I'll shut that off in a second. Welcome everyone to season 2 of Indie Vapor, a show about individuals in our community and industry. The goal of this show is to show the world that we come from all different walks of life. And most importantly, Patrick, that we're not bots. So I'm going to ask you the question I asked all my guests. Is Patrick a bot?
Well, I am a robot. I bend girders.
Can you do the robot, Patrick? No.
If you go to my X, the header,
yeah,
the header of my X is a vaping robot.
Is it a vaping robot? I love it. I love it. Yes, you know what? I was like, I've had Patrick on the show before, and I had to go back on the Wednesday Night Live show. Yes,
a long time ago. I was actually looking for that too, because I feel bad about that show. Actually,
you do.
When I was on the show, because there. So if we're diving right into this, the politics of what we do.
Yeah.
One of the things that everybody kept, I keep hearing, and I saw it a lot, and we hear it a lot. The single issue voter.
Okay. Yeah.
Myth. And on that show, I can't remember the other guy that was on the show with us at the time. He was a bit. I feel like I bursted his bubble when I explained that voters are not monolithic. Yeah. People in general they believe passionately about one topic or another,
right?
But more than likely they're multidimensional people, and there's more than one thing that they're passionate about,
right?
And I did lay out on that show some instances where the single issue voter thing gets blown away, completely. Whether you're right or left or center, whether you're a male or a female, whether you're gay or straight, there are different things that make each and every one of us different, young and old, that really destroy the idea that vaping could or always will be the most important thing for people.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. That was actually one of our older shows. So I'm thinking back here. It's Tim, Mandy, Madison, Tom, and maybe Brian was on the show as well.
There were like 3 or 4 other people on the show.
Yeah,
there was no ladies on the show. So
okay.
It was all dudes.
Yeah.
So
and the single issue voter deal is at that present time, I think it was important to look at the candidates and seeing where they were at when it came to our industry and our community. And I think it was a time when I think we needed to make a decision. And I think it was really important that sometimes, you might have to vote for someone that you may not enjoy all his policies, but right now this is something that was important, and we needed to get more people in Congress or anywhere in Washington on our back. And I think we're seeing a little bit more of that now today with some candidates that are putting vaping up front on their agenda as far as re-election. And I think it's smart. You have one there in Texas. And we've had him on the show, Drew.
Well, there's been, we've had a couple.
Oh, no, Texas. I'm sorry, Nevada. He's in Nevada.
Yeah, in Texas, even we've had a couple politicians. But the problem, I've been around a long time when it comes to this topic of vaping. Right. I've been vaping for 14-ish.
Yeah, 12 years for me too.
Yeah, 14-ish years, almost 15-ish years. Put the ish on there just to hedge my bets. But we've had vaping politicians, but the problem is, if you look at them, There was a guy in California that was vaping in Congress, the vaping congressman they called him.
Yeah.
But the problem is he was using that as a way to monetize us to get his ass reelected.
Yep.
And then when we started looking deep at his history, we started looking at what the hell was going on. Just because he's pro vaping, I would not. Thank God I didn't live in California, because there would have been no way at all.
Yeah.
That I could have supported this guy, because he was as corrupt and dirty as possible. I mean, he threw his own wife under the bus when he got in trouble for campaign corruption.
Of course,
he threw his wife under the bus.
Of course, that's just the politician snake.
Yeah, we were talking about Instagram. There's a picture of me talking to him at a vape event, and he's like this, because I'm calling him out for his shenanigans.
Yeah. They need to be called out. Well, let me say hello to Jason, Addie, Michelle's out there, Zamplebox, which is me. Andy's out there. Michael Renford's out there. Let me see. Peggy from eSource is out there. Aaron's out there. Nick Orlando, Mr. Orlando, my favorite person in Florida, in front of Phil.
Oh,
you're taking Nick has been my buddy. Now, I love Phil, but Nick's number one. Nick's number one when it comes to Floridorians, however you want to say that. But we're gonna get started. We're gonna get to know a little bit more about Patrick, his likes, his dislikes, his hobbies, what he does outside of the vape community. We all have different interests and hobbies, so I figured this is a great show. To see the person behind the post and get to know them as well. A lot of times we see faces on Twitter and some of the other social media platforms, and we'd like to get to know those people a little bit better. And that's what this show is all about, is getting to know the people behind the post. So we're going to ask Phil the most important question of the night. This one gets saved. Patrick, pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
This is a controversial question.
Do you need a drum roll?
So, personally, no.
Yes.
But
wait.
If my wife is in the room, because my wife is Filipino and they have different palates than everybody else.
Yes, they do.
This is her castle. I mean, I am the king, but she is the queen of the. So we're a mixed household here. So
yeah. All right. Well, I'll let that one go. You can go half. You can go half, right?
As long as that pineapple doesn't touch any of my pepperoni.
Doesn't touch my cheese slice. It's good. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, cranky old board. What is a 24-hour day like for Patrick?
Now, weekend or weekday? Because I work in healthcare. So
which one would
hours during the week is just boom,
let's
boom,
go with the fun one. Let's go with the fun one. The weekend. What is?
Now I'm an old man.
Oh gosh,
not as old as you, and definitely not as old as Kevin, but I am an old man. And I'm at the stage in life where I can't sleep past 8 o'clock or so.
Yeah.
So my wife, on the other hand, she's 8 years younger than me. She's a sleep inner. She can still sleep in, so I have to get up and start moving. So I, get up and putter around the house, obviously, do boring things, around you got to maintain the house and stuff. And, I'm just sort of a homebody right now. But nothing too exciting. I mean, by 5 o'clock, I might open a beer and sit on the back patio and have a good vape, but
you wait till 5? No, I'm kidding.
Again, the old man,
Yeah, my buddy says the sun's up. I go, yeah. What's that mean, dude?
Burning daylight, boys.
Yeah,
I have to be productive. So even if I'm sitting here at the computer watching something on the boob tube because there's a TV right here. I'm posting or I'm reading stuff, looking for stuff because I have a week between my shows.
Right.
So it's Google, share, tweet, whatever. I read comic books. I watch sci-fi movies. I'm sort of a nerd, but this office that I'm in is half comics, half vaping. So
that's the thing I think a lot of people don't take into consideration, that people that do podcasts like this one and other ones, that the preparation that goes into preparing for a show, especially if you have a specific topic, you want to make sure that your facts are factual and you're not spewing nonsense. So yeah, I think a lot of times people don't realize how much goes into even just a half-hour show. Sometimes it's a lot of work.
Our shows stretch out to the 4-hour epic every week, because we do part of our show is on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We're even on Twitch and Rumble. Now I do the vaping content. The first 2 hours or 3 hours of the show is vaping content. And then we close out all the other channels and we go over to Rumble for the after party. And then the after parties, conspiracy theories, government corruption. I did a whole section on FDA stuff last week, different things that, FDA lawsuits, FDA approving stuff and then pulling the approval, all sorts of things like that. And we talk about a topic that I can't speak about on YouTube because anytime I say the word, they send me an email saying, you said the word, we're pulling that show. So there are certain topics that I can't cover.
Is it the C word?
It is the C word. And I was the first of the shows that got pulled. I was saying positive things about facial coverings and washing your hands. And somehow that was controversial. I didn't say anything negative at all. And that was just enough. I just brought up the topic. And that was enough to get the show pulled.
You pissed off the non-hand washing people, and they had to, that guy that goes to the bathroom and doesn't wash his hands.
About getting poked or anything. It was just about facial coverings and washing your hands.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. One of the other shows that I do, I learned my lesson about making sure not to say the M word for the little people. That has become a no-no as well. Which one? Yeah, I almost said it. Thank you, Patrick. It took everything that I had inside me not to say the word just now. What makes the city you live in special? And if we were to visit, what restaurant or bar should we try, Patrick?
Well, I live in Corpus Christi, Texas, so it's they call it the sparkling city by the sea.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you're a fisherman, you like to go fishing. There's amazing fishing here. Great seafood, obviously. And the best place to eat while you're in Corpus Christi is at my backyard.
In my backyard. Everybody just go over to Patrick's house, knock on the door.
We're going to grill steaks and fish, and we'll have some Filipino food as well if you want that.
Hell yeah. See, that's a great combination when you just said right there, barbecue and Filipino together. Are you kidding me, man? You got an extra room, Patrick?
There's actually 2 guest rooms that are vacant right now. I will charge you rent, but
we'll try. That's fine.
All the dinner's included.
Oh yeah, see, it's the B&B, right? But with the bonus. Oh man!
And we also have the Win Sports Hall of Fame is here. So what do they call it? Where you're on a board and there's a sailboarding or whatever.
Oh, with the sail or just the
sail. The sail. They do that here as well.
Yeah, we have out here Don Pedro Reservoir. It's and Woodward Reservoir, where it's kind of in the mountain range, so the wind comes through there. It's a lot of, I forget what they call that.
They have a regatta here that's one of the world's famous regattas.
Nice.
Yeah,
sailboarding. There it is.
Yeah, that's the word.
That's the word, right?
The sailboarding Hall of Fame is here apparently because this is the
nice.
best place in the world to sailboard.
Nice.
At one point, we were called the second windiest city in America. So
second windiest. Yeah. See, we've learned a lot about it. Yeah. Chicago, the Bears. What is Jason's favorite movie quote?
What is Jason's favorite movie quote?
I'm sorry, Jason.
Jason was last week, dude.
I have not updated my show notes. What is Patrick's favorite movie note?
I am the devil, and I've come to do the devil's work.
I am the devil, and I come to do devil's work. Okay, is that from? I'm going to guess. I'm going to take a wild guess. The Devil's Advocate.
No,
could have been right though.
It's actually from V for Vendetta. It's one of my favorite movies.
Oh.
It's also one of my favorite graphic novels. You can't see it, but I have the mask back there.
Nice. Your dedication to the vaping community is well known, Jay. Here we go. I apologize for that.
Did you get your Exelon for your Alzheimer's and dementia medicine?
Don't go. Yeah, don't go. Yeah. Your dedication to the vaping community is well known, Patrick. What other interests, clubs, or organizations are you involved in outside of vaping?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm a gun guy, so I'm not a member of the NRA because I disagree with their corporate structure, as well as their essentially a mouthpiece for corporations and not the members of the organization. So I'm a member of a local community-based gun group in Texas that actually I go to Austin to lobby for guns as frequently as I would for vaping. But here in Texas, it's quite easy.
Yeah, it is.
It's very easy. I mean, one of our
and a fifth of Jack through a drive-through window.
Yeah, all the sins sort of get lumped together in Texas. So gambling, we have a burgeoning distillery sort of culture here now. There's bourbons being made here,
nice
whiskeys being made here. Gambling, all the pot people. So we all sort of the independent organizations sort of all get clustered together. So when we do a meet and greet, we'll rent a gun range and invite the staff and the politicians to come and hang out with us, and we'll bring bullets and things to shoot so that they can. But the thing is if you rent a couple stalls for that, there's other parts of the gun range that are still being active, and you'll look at the clientele in those, and here even the hippies with like pink dreadlocks are over there shooting their AKs and AR-15s. So Texas is sort of odd because even the vast majority of the moderate left people are still gun people too.
Yeah. I have been through Texas a lot. I drove truck for 25 years. So, and I pretty much did 14 Western for at least 2 years of that. So, and during that time, I worked for United Van Line. So I was moving a lot of people out of California into Oregon, Washington, and Texas and Arizona at that time. So I got to see Texas a lot. I loved it. It's somewhere that I think I would like to be someday, but we'll wait and see where the dice rolls. What was Jason? God damn it, John. Well, I should have updated my show notes. What it was Patrick's first job, and did you quit or get fired?
My first job. Now, are you talking about like
back in the day, baby?
A legal job or like
when you were a kid, teenager?
When I was 14, actually, when I was 13, I started my own lawn business.
Nice.
My parents said, if you want to make money, go cut some grass. So I had like 8 houses that I would mow every weekend, and I charged $20 a yard in 1986.
That's it. That's about right.
And in the weekend I could make like $160. And after a couple weekends, I bought my own mower, and I couldn't have fired myself. I've never.
You can't.
I could have.
You could have hired someone and then fired that person.
But yeah, no, I mean that's my first experience working.
Yeah.
Then, when I was 16, I took a job working at a supermarket, and I worked there until I graduated high school and went to college.
Nice. Stock boy.
No,
Everyone's had.
I worked in the meat market and the deli, the bakery.
Yeah.
And then eventually I was a cashier.
Yeah.
I got burned out on the, cutting up animals. And well, I didn't get burned out.
Now you cut them up all the
Quite
time, right?
enjoy cutting up animals.
Yeah, my oldest son's, that's where he started. It was in a supermarket and college, then the Navy. What the first poster on your wall as a teenager, Patrick? What was that first poster up on your wall?
Oh, well, you might have had the same poster. I mean, it's the classic Farrah Fawcett poster.
Hell yeah, in a red suit.
And I had a Lindsay Wagner poster, but it wasn't the Lindsay Wagner Bionic Woman. It was the Lindsay Wagner when she was a swimsuit model.
A swimsuit model. Okay.
Oh my God. There's a huge difference between Lindsay Wagner Bionic Woman and Lindsay Wagner swimsuit model. Just saying.
Yeah. Big difference. Hey, James R. I got to do it like Tim does it. James R. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, you tried to fire yourself. That one doesn't work. It doesn't work.
No, my wife said that the dishwasher was broken, and I walked up and I inspected her hands, and I said, "Your hands work?"
How was sleeping on the couch that night, Patrick?
I never sleep on the couch.
Never. Oh man. What would you do if you got an hour alone in the White House all by yourself? Nobody else in there, Patrick. What is Patrick doing?
By myself?
Yeah, you got the whole place to yourself.
I can't talk to anybody to get my way. It's just
that would be a whole different show, man. You got an hour all to yourself in there.
Well, I'm gonna hit the button.
You're gonna hit which button? Wait, time out. Which button you hitting?
I'm gonna hit the button.
No.
No. I'm gonna go through the presidential files to see if there's anything about Area 51 in there.
Hell yeah. We've got some very interesting answers to that question. We've got run through the White House naked for an hour. We've got jump on the Lincoln's bed. We've got look for the tunnels that JFK used to sneak in Marilyn Monroe. And Allison's, my favorite one, take out one battery from every remote in the White House just to fuck with everybody in there.
I would steal all of the pens.
Steal the pens. There you go. So especially the executive pen.
Sign any bills,
especially that executive pen. That's for sure.
If there's a veto stamp, I'm stealing that shit too.
Yeah. Music is to the soul what words are to the mind. So my question for you, if you were to put together a mixtape with songs, what would be your top 3 songs?
Just in general, the top.
Yeah.
Okay, so song number 2 by Blur, Sabotage by Beastie Boys,
nice.
And probably not a Metallica song, probably Harvester of Sorrows.
Nice. See, we get a good general idea of your music appreciation there. You're a kid of the 90s, right? Teenager of the 90s.
Yeah. Well, I mean, graduated high school 1990.
Yeah. So you grew up on 90s music, a little bit of the 80s.
Well, I mean, all of those songs are 80s songs except for Blur.
Yeah. Blur, except for Blur.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sabotage came out when I was like in.
That came out in 80s.
10th grade. It was like 88 or 86.
Yeah,
in that
87, 88. Yeah. Well, what band or musician would you love to party with, dead or alive?
Let's see. Oh, dead or alive.
Yeah, dead or alive. You get to dig them out.
I've already partied with Motley Crue.
Nice. And you survived.
Played Nerf football with Aerosmith. I drank with Hank Jr.
Nice.
I've met Metallica. I've met the Cult. I'm gonna go with Jimi Hendrix.
Hell yeah.
I'll pick a dead guy. Either that or David Bowie. But
Yeah, I would be interesting if you would survive. That would be the question. Would you survive a night of partying with
I
Jimi
drank with
Hendrix?
Hank and survived. So
And you survived.
and oh shit, I forgot Willie.
Willie.
And
Now Willie, could Willie get a little bit of both worlds there. You get a little bit of drinking, you can get a little bit of pot
no,
smoking.
Willie and Bob Dylan did a tour together
Yeah.
about 20 years ago, 15 years ago, where they played minor league ballparks all over the world or all over the country.
Oh,
And
wow.
I bought backstage tickets, the
Yeah.
VIP package and all that for they were in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and I saw them at Altoona. And I got
Altoona.
to meet Bob Dylan and Willie. And
Nice.
there's a contact high just from shaking Willie's hands.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah, exactly. Well, that's Snoop Dogg said that's the only person he will not smoke pot with. You ain't going one on one with Willie when it comes to that. What would your friends and family assume you have done if you were arrested without an explanation, Patrick?
Now? Or when I was younger?
No. Yeah, it would be now. Currently.
Yeah, currently probably speeding.
Speeding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a speeding story, but I can't share it yet because it's still going to court. What was the first major news event you remember as a teenager, and how did it change you?
Teenager?
Yeah.
What does it say? When Reagan got shot, I was a kid. When the
Yeah.
Challenger went down, I was a kid. Oh, I got one. I mean, this is like 18.
Yeah.
My freshman year in college, I had purposely picked a college 800 miles away from my family to get
Of
the
course.
fuck away.
Yeah.
And we invaded Kuwait, or Operation Desert Shield that turned into Desert Storm.
Right.
Happened like the first month or 2 months into college. And as a dumb college kid, that's like the first war that we've ever really had in my lifetime. And I mean, we're still fighting it essentially. Immediately a bunch of dumb drunk college kids are thinking, oh shit, they're going to start the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember like the night that it happened, like we were at a kegger. We stole the keg, threw it in the back of one of our cars, drove across the border from Savannah, Georgia into South Carolina, found an old dirt road, pulled into the old dirt road, pulled out the keg and drank the keg, the four of us dry.
You were worried about going in.
The world was going to end tomorrow because we were going to get drafted. And at the time, I would not have been the right person to send overseas. Now, you put me up in a high height, I can take out people left and right. Don't get me wrong, but that scared the shit out of us. I can that was probably
that's a big one. I didn't really kind of, because I graduated in 86, so I was 18 in 86, 87. I really didn't have to, I had to go register for the draft back then. We had to register for
selective
the draft.
service.
Yeah,
all boys over the age of 18 have to do that.
But having that moment where you see that, I can imagine what was going through your mind at that time. You're like, I'm not ready for this. I just finished college, and you want me to go to Kuwait? You just started. Yeah, it's like, I got to go to Kuwait now. What the hell, man? Do I get class credits for this or what?
Yeah, I mean, as a dumb kid, that was where my brain went. I mean, as an adult person who has been in the world now, you're like, oh, well, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, you've seen how. Well, I don't.
And God forbid if they did it now. And
we've seen what takes. I'm not going. Fuck that.
Now, if they implemented the draft, we'd lose. Like,
don't say it too loud.
Start throwing those kids out in the field.
It's pretty bad out there.
Not to say anything bad about what are we at, Generation X?
Amen.
Or what are we, Generation Y? What
Z or Z would be the ones. Now Z, the Z's are 20. in their mid-20s, and I think the new one's called, I don't know what it's fucking called. Animal. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, Gen Z would be
Generation
the one.
Crybaby. I mean,
I don't know. Yeah, they're great at Call of Duty.
maybe
That'd
we
be a
just a drone for every
just a room full of Gen Zs in front of computers controlling drones.
Yeah. And maybe that's how we have to do it now. They can pretend, Ender's Game. They think they're playing a game and they're really fighting a war, a real war. With all these college kids today, like on campuses, having protests about something on the other side of the planet that we have no control over at all. And they think that their little protest at some college in America is going to make any change. What's going on the other side of the world is ridiculous.
They have a lot to learn. Well, if you look at it, I mean, it's it's not the first generation to do it.
Pro-Israel or pro-Palestine.
Yeah.
The Palestinians are watching American TV going, look at those idiots. And the Israelis are watching TV going, look at those idiots. I mean, nothing that we do here is going to, in any way, shape, or form, affect anything that's going on over there.
Russ, that's spot on, Russ. They would all have a
Hey, poser.
Okay. Yeah, pineapple on pizza? No, I'm kidding.
Where's my poutine?
Where's my poutine? Hey, do they have Tim Hortons there? Is there a Tim Hortons there? Janine, if you're out there, Janine, we apologize, Janine.
No, Janine knows I love her.
Yeah. I don't know what your career is. So if you were to wake up tomorrow and had to choose a different career, which one would you have chosen and why?
Can I pick one of my already past careers that I?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
I'd go back to working for the United Nations doing, body recoveries and conflict zones and war zones.
Oh, nice. See, we wouldn't have, did anyone know that about you?
I think a lot of my people know that I have a master's degree in forensic anthropology, and I used to work for the United Nations and their human rights and war crimes investigative unit.
Yeah. My daughter-in-law that's married to my son has that same degree. Now she's just got to use it. No, I'm kidding. I love you. I love you.
I was even here in the States at one point. I was a licensed medical examiner, and certain districts you can be a licensed medical examiner without an MD. And I used to, and I helped start one of the 2 massive body farms here in the United States.
Nice. Let me get this one. The first song you remember learning all the words to was, and if you want to, you can sing a few bars of it.
There will be no singing.
There will be no singing.
No singing. Actually, the first song that I remember all the words. All right.
Like,
do I have to remember the words now, or was it the song that I used to know all the words?
Yeah, when you were a teenager, the one that you heard on the radio and you said, I got to learn all the words to this song, and you went out looking for it, or you went, let me see, you're a kid of the 90s, so it would be the back cover of the CD.
Well, it wouldn't have been a 90s song, though. It would have 99% of it, I'm sure.
80s.
The song that I know all the words to, or I knew all the words to, was a Waylon Jennings song.
Waylon Jennings.
And it probably was Just a Good Old Boy, Never Meaning No Harm.
Yeah. The Dukes of Hazzard song.
And that would have not been in, that would have been in the early, early to mid 80s. Yeah. I'm a huge Waylon Jennings fan.
Well, you're a Texan. You're a Texan. You have to be.
He's from Oklahoma.
Well, yeah, I know the love-hate between Oklahoma and Texas. I know all about that, especially when it comes to college football. I understand that whole hatred between those 2 states. And I'm sure you don't like the fact that Oklahoma is the capital of Cowboys, but oh, no, I know. I would ask you, what do you love about Oklahoma? And you're going to say Waylon Jennings.
Probably that might be the
Probably.
only thing that I can say.
Oh, man. Well, you have answered all my questions, Patrick. You have answered all of them very well. We learned a little bit about you. I at this part, this is something I kind of wanted to add to the show. Share a little bit about your journey, how you got into vaping, what drew you into that,
Oh,
and how did you progress through the years to where you are today?
okay. So my vaping story has at its core deception and selfishness. But when I started dating my wife, um, I was smoker, and she's when we decided that we were going to get married, she said under the promise that you were going to quit smoking when we get married.
Yeah.
And I was so in love. I said yes. I love my cigarettes and I love my cigars and I love my pipe, but for you, I will do that. So we got married. My wife is, again, I mentioned it before, she Filipino. So we got married in the Philippines. We went to the Philippines and got married. And while we were there, one of my wife's aunts, has a convenience store, what they call a sari sari store. And she gave me 10 cartons of cigarettes.
Ooh.
And now a carton of cigarettes costs about $12 at the time
Yeah.
in the Philippines. So we were getting married in the middle of the 4 weeks that we were there. So she gave me 10 cartons of cigarettes when we first got there. So in 4 weeks that we were there, I did not smoke 10 cartons of cigarettes. I probably smoked 2, maybe 3 cartons. Plus, other relatives were giving me cigarettes too.
Of course.
Because they love cigarettes in the Philippines.
Yeah, they do.
So after we got married, I still had like 8 cartons of cigarettes left. So I said to the wife, when I'm done with these cigarettes, I will quit. So we came home and there was a stack of cartons of cigarettes on the dining room table in our apartment. And as I smoked them, the pile got smaller and smaller. But I got down to like 4 cartons of cigarettes. And then fear started creeping into my head. And I'm like, shit. So periodically I would stop at the convenience store when I was getting gas and buy a couple packs of cigarettes to put them in the cartons to replenish.
You're sneaky, man.
And this went on for months. And my wife's like, you're really doing good at, trimming down your smoking, because those cigarettes are lasting for and this went on for almost a year. And she just thought that I was
yeah, you were killing it.
And then finally, about Christmas time, it wasn't a year. We got married in June, 6 months. December starts creeping in, and my wife looks over, and I have forgotten to replenish.
Oh, shit.
And there was 1 pack left. And she saw it. There was 1 pack.
You're done there.
So I was backed up into the corner. And she said, well, let's go. This was December 1st of 2010. She said, I need to go to, what's the frou-frou store in the mall where they have all the candles, the smelly stuff.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember the name of that place.
Bath and Body Works.
Bath and Body Works.
I got to go to Bath and Body Works, which I can't go into because the 18,000 cents all mingling in the middle just smells like shit to me when you get
it does.
In the middle. So there is a kiosk outside of the front of Bed Bath and Beyond, or Bath and Body Works. So anyway, that is selling this thing that I've never seen before, electronic cigarettes. So I go and I start talking to the guy, and he's explaining cartomizers, and he's explaining, the little Cigalike. I still have the Cigalike here.
Yeah.
The Cigalike, and I'm like, how much is it? And he's like, it's $150, but with this comes 20 cartomizers that you can refill. And I'm like, refill? And he's like, yeah, you take a little paper clip or something, you pop the little rubber gasket off the end, and you just drip more liquid into it until the cotton is wet. So I was like, okay, fine. So I got it, and my wife comes out and she's like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, it's an electronic cigarette. It's totally safe. Blah, blah, blah. This guy just gave me this really, big sales pitch. And I went home and we tried it. And after that moment, I never picked up another cigarette.
Yeah.
The next day, I had to go back to the mall and give the guy another $100 to buy a second battery.
Yeah, the battery. Yeah, the second battery.
I paid like $200 plus for all of it.
Yeah.
And it was 2 Cigalite stick batteries, and like 20 cartos and a couple bottles of e-liquid. And that was it. And then I sat down at my computer one day and I started researching and found a community back in the day. They don't have it now, but there used to be this thing called Stick Cam. And Stick Cam was sort of like live streaming. It was sort of like what we do now, but very low key, low tech. And it was a chat room with a guy was talking on the screen, and that was it. We went from Stick Cam. We had that's where I met Dimitri and Phil. We're on Stick Cam. Then we moved on to Justin TV. And from Justin TV to Vaping TV, they started. We had so many of us that he had to start a second server. Then he got rid of us and went off and opened or started Twitch. It's the guy that owns Twitch.
Yeah.
Was the guy that started Justin TV. And then that just sort of snowballed. And then a bunch of us in one of the chat rooms is like, we need, there was some political stuff going on, and some cities were trying to ban vape shops, and starting to get a little. And one of the guys in the chat was like, we need to start our own sort of grassroots, down dirty political, thing, because CASA's really nice and they wear suits and ties and they don't really represent us.
Yeah, the community. Yeah.
So we need to be more aggressive. So we started the vaping militia, and got to travel all over the world all over the country, talking to vapors and politicians about vaping. I still got my dog tags right here.
Yeah. Nice.
And then that, eventually we just branched off and started our own shit. And now we're the Son of Liberty Radio.
Nice.
We started doing podcasting, just audio podcasting, reading articles, interviewing people. And then Fig from California said, hey, you should really start a video channel. I'm like, nobody wants to look at my face.
That was me too. That was my first words.
I was like, I have a voice for radio. I can do that.
Yeah.
But talked me into doing a video show, and now we're not even doing the audio podcast because the audio podcasting was so expensive for us, because we were on literally every audio platform that you could possibly think of.
Yeah.
We had at one point 750,000 downloads on audio.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just like, I should have just stuck with the audio.
Yeah. Audio is so much easier. It's cheaper too, really.
You don't even have to get dressed for audio.
Yeah, you don't. You can do it in your underwear and no shirt. Nobody will know anything.
Man boobs be hanging out. Nobody would even know.
Yeah, they wouldn't know. It's amazing though. You bring up the kiosks and Jason there as well. But a lot of us did start there in the mall at a kiosk.
There was no vape shops.
Yeah, there was no vape shops.
There's such thing as a vape shop.
Yeah.
Not here.
Here's my question to you though, because this is something that I have noticed in the very beginning for people that had purchased from the kiosk, but the guy that you bought from the kiosk was very knowledgeable on the product. He knew exactly the ins and outs of that. He didn't. Okay, so you're the only one that's got that
This
story.
guy was like, not to be ugly, and then I'm
Mm.
not trying to be. He was your standard mall Persian guy that has, all the kiosks are like the same Persian
Okay.
family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and they just bought a franchise to sell this product in
Mm.
the mall.
Mm.
None of the mall kiosk people that I ever bumped into knew anything about vaping. But
Really?
this was
Yeah.
December of 2010.
Yeah. 2010. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you go to a vape shop, you have
Yeah.
educated people that have gone through the journey most of the time.
Yeah.
There are a few very passionate vape advocates out there that I know and love that were never smokers and don't even vape,
Right. Yeah.
but they
There
own
are.
vape shops and they believe in the product.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No,
there's
yeah.
some really passionate guys out there that
They
smoke
are. There are
product that
lots
don't
of
use
them
it.
that are out there that, and it's easy because for them, a lot of them, even if they weren't smokers, they had someone in their family that was a smoker that died from cancer, emphysema, and had gone through the battle. So everyone has a cancer story, has a cigarette story, whether they've never touched them or have smoked 2 packs a day. And it's good that we have people that are out there that are advocating for us that are not smokers and are just looking out and trying to make sure that like me. When I quit, it was because I turned around. My neighbor bumped me in the elbow. We're sitting outside talking. He bumped me in the elbow and he goes, "Look." And I turned around and my grandson is mimicking me with his crayon. He was
Uh,
coloring on his book and he was doing this with his crayon like
uh,
I was doing. And I was like, and that when it hit me, I was like, I can't do this. I can't start another generation of smokers. And to me, that's when it clicked. And I was like, where my mom brought up the blues. And I was like, okay, I'll go check this damn thing out. And I started with the blue, and the blue worked until the point I saw that first vape device and I was like, "Ooh, this is different." And yeah, I was like, and I made that transition.
so I have to ask you a question.
Yeah, hit me.
This is a question that some people in our community are kind of very protective, and they're also they're passionate, but I think there are some that are very misdirected. So, for example, in the UK right now,
Yeah,
they are in the process of passing a tobacco control bill that establishes a date,
right,
and nobody born after that date will ever be able to buy a pack of cigarettes ever.
right. Like in New Zealand. Yeah,
No, well, that is gone. The New Zealand
yeah,
thing is gone.
yeah,
The smart people that were elected
yeah,
after that bill passed threw it out. But
yeah.
in the UK, they're doing this, and Hawaii also tried to do this, and it didn't pass. But in
Right.
the UK, it looks like it's getting some sort of movement. Do you support, or would you support any regulation or law that says that people born after this date will never be able to buy a cigarette, regardless of whether they're 100 years old,
Right.
ever?
I'm going to say no because I think we all have a right to choose, and I think taking that right away from us is just the beginning of something that it could end up being much greater and worse down the road when it comes to other things, whether it be alcohol, coffee, sugars, preservatives, you name it. I mean, it's
Mhm.
just you're opening a door. I was always told my parents were very liberals when they lived in Philadelphia, but when we moved to California, both my parents' attitudes completely changed to more of a conservative Republican ideal. And my dad always said, once you open the door, and you let them in or you let them put a foot in the door, that's when you have given in. And I was always saying, look, do I think smoking should be destroyed and taken away? It'd be great. But I also feel like if that person chooses to smoke, that's his right. It's his right. Let him smoke. He's not harming anyone if he's smoking in his car by himself or he's outside smoking. That's up to you. You want to smoke, smoke. But yeah, I'm not for government stepping in and telling me what is right or wrong for me. Let me make that choice as an adult. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what is your opinion on that?
I don't really have one because I have not used that product. It's the
Right.
snuff, right? Snuff?
This is a snus.
Snoops, yeah.
Snus.
Snoof, like the Euros would say, the snoof. Yeah, I mean, that's like School Bandit, the School Patches. Remember
Right.
those?
Well, but it's not the same.
Yeah,
It's a similar form factor, but it
yeah,
doesn't. It's not the same product.
yeah.
So this is a pasteurized tobacco that is treated in a process that they've been using for over 100 years in Sweden.
Yeah.
You know, no cancer risk at all.
Yep.
However, when CASA puts out a positive statement about 5-6 years ago about snus,
Yeah.
all hell broke loose. The vaping community snapped and was like, "How dare you? That's horrible. You're promoting." You know,
we all have vices. I mean,
dude, this is safer than vaping.
Yeah.
Scientifically proven safer than vaping.
I've always been that person that okay, you remember because you go back way back as like I do 12 years, and I understand in the early days the earlier community didn't want big tobacco to be part of vaping, and we all understood that because it was the fact that they lied to us throughout the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s.
They never lied to you.
No, not personally to me, but they lied to the government and saying it wasn't cancer
and
in
the
there.
People that did that lying are gone.
Yeah, they are gone. They're way gone.
They're dead.
But if this is a question we ask sometimes on the show, if big tobacco comes out and has a product that works and is safe and is in our community, would you accept it? And I think our community is still 50-50 on that. And to me,
that's the thing is everybody, even us, us, we've fallen into the misinformation and the brain drain when it comes to this whole idea that big tobacco is our enemy. Now, having personally stood in several state capitals across the country, not always, but 9 times out of 10, their lobbyist is arguing the same stuff that we're arguing.
Right.
Not always.
Yeah, not always. Yeah.
Not always. So we in the past have had to rely on information that they have provided to us.
Yeah.
I mean, there's for about 1.5 years long period, CASA handed the control of like all the local call to actions in the entire country to me and one other guy. For the vaping militia. We wrote every local call to action for any local issue in the entire country for about 1.5 years.
Oh, wow.
So the vaping militia was the home of all of the local calls to action. We did all the call. I researched the names of every politician on whether they were organized with aldermen or representatives or whatever.
For each district. God damn, that's a lot of work, man.
we get in Google Maps and try to find all the vape shops, call the managers of the vape shops. Are you aware that your city's about to pass, a ban on vaping in public in your city? Are you aware that they've introduced an ordinance that will shut down every vape shop in the city limits? Did you know this? No.
Good night, Skip. We're about out of here, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Patrick, for coming on. You can find all of Patrick's links in the header of the show. I think I've got your website. I got your YouTube channel. I've got
the website's dead.
There's a site. It popped up.
We haven't updated that website in like 3 years.
Well, get to it. Quit sitting around.
I don't have access to it. That was something that Dimitri had when Dimitri started the network. The Smoke Free Radio website.
Yeah.
It hasn't been updated. I mean,
put the whiskey down. Put the glass of whiskey down. No, I'm kidding.
The Twitters. We have a Twitch channel if you really want to watch on Twitch. I mean, I broadcast there, but maybe get 10 views on Twitch.
Yeah.
The
Twitch is,
Rumble's where it's at though.
yeah. I will have to have you you can either DM me after that address or for your Rumble, and then I will add it to the header, so when someone comes back to watch this, if they want to find you there, they can find you there. But you
Yeah.
can
Oh, by the
always,
way, this
yeah,
particular show, I'm mirroring your show
yeah,
on Rumble
yeah.
right now.
Perfect. See, there we go. Again, thank you. It was good. It was fun to get to have you back on the show, and to learn a lot about you, and learn some things I didn't know about you. And I hope everyone else out there has got to see a little different side of Patrick. And that's the goal of this show. Like I said, it's I think a lot of times we see names, and sometimes we don't really use our names. We use acronyms, or our favorite actor or pictures. So it's nice to see the face behind the names in the posts. So yeah, there you go. uh, it's something I think I hope people outside of our community get to see, that we're in our 20s, we're in our 30s, we're in our 40s,
I wish
50s,
I was in my
60s.
20s again.
Yeah, yeah. Or 21. We are 21 and up. There we go.
All the stuff that I would do again. I would not change anything, but I would enjoy doing it all again.
Yeah, I'm sticking this out until I wake up one morning and I just see vape shops reopening, them completely leaving regular. I'm all for regulations,
Oh yeah.
but making them reasonable.
Reasonable and safe regulation.
Yes.
That's what we've always wanted.
Yeah.
It,
I
we don't want it to be, I don't want to interrupt and lengthen your show,
Yeah,
but
again.
don't want to use the word, wild, wild west. I don't
Right,
want to hear
right.
that word ever used again about vaping
No.
or a free for all.
Yeah.
That's another one that
Or
we
here's the
need. We
one.
need.
Here's the one I know you hate hearing. Loophole. Let's
Oh
find a
God.
loophole. I'm done with loopholes, man. No more fucking loopholes. Just give me my product.
Oh, I'm just gonna stop making e-liquid and move my business over to CBD.
There you go. Yeah,
That's where all the e-liquid millionaires went from.
yeah.
Instead of writing a check and defending their industry,
Nope.
oh,
Yep.
I'm just going to move over here to this other unregulated industry that will ultimately be regulated
Yep. The guy that
by the same people.
yeah, that was the guy, and I can't remember his name, but he had one of my favorite lines, and it was Liquid State out of Washington.
Oh, there's
And
more than one.
yeah,
There's like,
well, him is the one I remember because I worked with him a little bit. And he just, one day I got a DM from him on Instagram. He says, "I'm out." And I'm like, "Dude, seriously?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm out. I'm going into the hemp industry." I was like, "Well, good luck. Goodbye." And shut down. That apple butter from Liquid State in the red bottle was one of my favorite friggin' e-liquids of all
I
time.
mean,
And he
tons of
just,
guys,
yeah,
some of them wrote big checks to
yeah,
fight for their industry.
yeah,
A vast majority of them that were big guys that
yeah,
posting on Instagram their new custom shoes or their
yep.
new
They're
their new
Ferrari.
Ferrari or their new, whatever expensive sports car.
Yeah.
They were a lifestyle. They amplified their lifestyle and then left.
Yeah, that's why I have a lot of respect for Tony from Zamplebox. He stuck it out. He wrote the big checks. He donated lots and lots of money. He
He never
tried to
has
get,
anything that I can vape.
huh?
He never has anything that I can vape.
Well, yeah, now with the way things are, but in the early days, there was a lot of.
I mean,
Hey, they had.
I vape
Hey,
18 and 12
yeah,
even now.
yeah, it'd be hard to find it. Yeah, I mean, at its heyday, over 350,000 subscribers. So they were doing something right out there at Zamplebox. And Tony, he wrote the big checks. He took care. He stepped up. He went to City Hall. He went to Congress. He did all that, and he stood by the industry as long
Yeah.
as he could. And I have a ton of respect for Tony and what he's done for the for just, if it wasn't for Zamplebox, this little town I live in, I wouldn't even have known there was an apple butter. I wouldn't have known there was a mango out there. I was stuck to black cherry, tobacco, vanilla tobacco, some other flavor. Because I live in a small town.
Yeah.
All right, Patrick. Thank you again. Thank you, everybody in chat. We'll see everybody next Thursday. Look into the camera, Patrick, and wave goodbye.
See you tomorrow.